Joe Burrow wins leagues in 2023. Flat out wins leagues in 2023. He was such a monster last year. One of our biggest lands of the entire offseason, promoting this guy in round 6 and 7. Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow, I hung the channel's reputation on. These win you leagues. I'm a big advocate of early quarterback. I defend early quarterback like Robin Hood. I'm the Robin Hood of early quarterback. But even in defending early quarterback, last year, two of the biggest predictions, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, they win you leagues in round 6 and 7. And they went in 6 and 7 for a long time last offseason. Joe Burrow's back in the game for winning leagues in 2023. Why? How?
Smitty, how on earth could Joe Burrow be a steal after last season?
We have the scientists in the back trying to figure that out right now. I go to the mountain every night for a vision. The only thing I come back with is Joe Burrow winning leagues in 2023. Why? I'm going to tell you why. He's still a league winner in 2023, even if we see him coming, or people that didn't believe in him last year, even if they see him coming, he's winning leagues. I'll tell you why. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.
Joe Burrow is going, no, young man. Not in the middle of round 2, not in the bottom of round 2 where he belongs. Not even really in the third round unless you're talking the bottom of the third round, Bob. He's going in the 3rd to 4th round turn. We'll put him right in between so you get a feel for the fact that, yeah, he could go at the end of 3. He could go at the top of 4. Why? Why is he falling here? Why? I'll tell you why. And I don't hate the reason why. I believe in the reason. I believe both of these players should be ranking high. This man right here, Justin Fields, is the reason why. He's been climbing since the DJ Moore trade and all that's going on in Chicago, and rightly so. I think Fields belongs in the top of 3. I think this man is a 3rd round player. I don't disagree with his climb, his ascension into the fantasy football greatness. However, one man's rise is another man's fall. And Joe Burrow, who was once the 4th golden boy of everybody's top 4 quarterback rankings, is a victim. Falling as Fields rises. And all I can do is smile. All I can do is have an ear-to-ear grin because somehow, some way, people don't want to just vault both of them up. I don't care. I don't complain. I don't ask questions. I've even asked the scientists in the back to stop working on the problem. Why? We don't care why. All we care about is that we get to take advantage of Joe Burrow at 3-4 round turn territory. Do people even understand what this can afford you to do in your draft? We talk about the 4 horsemen all the time, where you draft Jamar Chase at the top of 1, you get Burrow at the end of 4, if it's even possible, and it sometimes very much is possible. And if you can somehow land Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and you get Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall around 3 and 4, we call that the 4 horsemen.
I give you the 4 horsemen: Jamar Chase, Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Joe Burrow, all from the 1.1 draft slot. The 4 horsemen ride 4 horses all at one time. Giddy up.
I don't even know if that's a horse at the end of that. I think it might be a camel, but that even makes it even more enjoyable, if you ask me. The 4 horsemen is not easy to do. It can be done, especially in best ball. It can be done in your grandma league. It can be done in a league you think is in a grandma league because, you would never play in a grandma league, but you do have a couple grandmas in your league, let's be honest, Bob. It can be done. It's not easy. Great things are not easy to accomplish. So maybe you fall short by one player. Maybe Burrow isn't the guy you end up getting and you got to go get a T-Law downstream. Maybe you end up going Burrow in round 3, and instead of going with a Walker or a potential Breece Hall around 3, you get one of them around 2. So we'll say Walker around 2. We'll say, okay, I'm freaking out, Smitty. I want the stack. I want the Burrow and Chase stack, and I already got Walker. I'm going Burrow in round 3. I can't afford to wait. Or maybe Hall goes before your Burrow pick, whatever. So Walker goes here. Burrow, you don't want to risk it, so you take Burrow here. Maybe Hall went right before Walker. Who knows? Or maybe you take Hall instead of Walker. Whatever. I can understand doing this. I can understand freaking out and saying, oh my God, I got to take Burrow. You take Burrow. Well, you know what? You're still doing a version of the 4 horsemen. And let's say you end up taking, let's say you get Jahmyr Gibbs at this 4 pick. And then remember, you've got the back-to-back 4th and 5th round pick. So this next pick could be Drake London. It could be Christian Watson. Look at this. I mean, is this really going to be all that bad? Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Kenneth Walker, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian Watson. Poor you. Poor you.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Joe Burrow at 3-4 round territory, not round 2 where the other quarterbacks are going. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, they're going in 2, which I predicted last year, which I've been talking about year over year over year. The early quarterback is actually solid, but people kept saying, Smitty.
But Smitty, early quarterback, you just can't take an early quarterback.
I'm so tired of hearing that. You've got to compare apples to apples. If I take Joe Burrow at the top of round 3, let's say, and let's say the argument is you got to wait on T-Law in round 6. Now, I love Trevor Lawrence. I'm using Trevor Lawrence for a reason because I want to use somebody I actually really like. I love T-Law in round 6. But to argue that Burrow and a 6th round player isn't as good as T-Law and a 3rd round player, it's head-scratchingly ridiculous and lazy to continue to say that this is the better approach just because there's good value later. There's good value at wide receiver and running back later too. People don't talk about that. They don't use the brain. Joe Burrow and a London who can easily fall to the round 5, end of round 5, top of round 6. So whether we're talking T-Law or London, or if you've got to go T-Law up here, then Christian Watson sometimes falls to the top of that territory, or you get London. You get London. London will be in the 5th round. London could be in the 6th round. That's why I give this example as well. To sit here and say that my London Gold and Joe Burrow isn't better than T-Law and a 3rd round wide receiver, let's call that a Debo Samuel. So Debo and Burrow in the same round, T-Law and London in the same round. Burrow and London versus Debo and T-Law. Get out of here. Stop talking about how quarterbacks can't be taken early. Even in the example of Mahomes and a 2nd round wide receiver, you could easily argue that a Mahomes and a London, let's use 2 players I absolutely love, St. Brown and T-Law. Mahomes and London, I like more than St. Brown and T-Law. Stop with the madness. You don't know what you're talking about if you sit here and say a blanket statement.
Smitty, you gotta wait on quarterback because, well, the entire fantasy industry's been telling me because for so many years, I don't even know why anymore.
Think for yourself. Don't listen to the regurgitation of fantasy football analysts over the years when they just play it safe. Back to Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. Let's say you've got a 11 pick or a 12 pick, and let's say you grab Bijan Robinson at the 12 pick. Then let's say you grab Garrett Wilson at that 13 pick. You grab Burrow with your 3.12. You grab Watson with your 4.1. You grab Drake London with your 5.12. This is a cousin of the 4 horsemen. Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Burrow, Watson, London. Who's not winning a championship with that team? Joe Burrow helps you win a championship in the 3rd or the 4th round. And I don't care if you reach into round 3 or you take advantage of his round 4 value. The later you draft in round 4, the more likely you're going to get sniped, because somebody that has some sort of intelligence is probably in your league. I still try the original 4 horsemen if you can. If you land it, you're walking to the promised land if everybody stays healthy. Most likely. Depends how you do with the rest of your draft. But good Lord, Joe Burrow is at the center of building fantasy football dominance. The question is, are you going to ride with Joe Burrow, one of the original founders of the 4 horsemen? Giddy up! Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com for your year-round rankings, bowl predictions, trade calculators, one-on-one text advice. This is a year-round website. This isn't your mom's draft kit. We don't do draft kits. We do full-fledged fantasy football sites with content all year long, 365. Get out of here.